Hello, everyone. This is a follow-up to a previous post where I discussed multivitamins, and I mentioned that I would be discussing other supplements that I know. By the way, there are a few things out there which I know nothing whatsoever about. The only thing I would know would be what I could look up. What I could Google or Wikipedia or some such thing, and you can do that for yourself. So if I don't know something about them from personal experience and a bit deeper research, I probably will not review supplements, and I'll be reviewing very, very few herbals, but I am going to review an herbal today, and that is Tribulus. In this particular case, Megatribulus extract. This one from Swanson, they call it Passion Products for More Sexual Satisfaction. Well, this product actually did work for me. It didn't perform miracles. It's not Viagra or some pharmaceutical thing which you can expect more out of, but it did, in fact, seem to increase virility somewhat. I had to take pretty well the upper end of their recommended dosage on it. It's one capsule 2 to 3 times per day, and I was taking, I guess, three per day. And probably more than that at one point in the process of testing it. And it did, in fact, seem to help. Now, it may not in all individuals, but in my case, it seemed to be a bit effective. How much of that is uh, placebo effect, I don't know. You'll hear me mention placebo effect a lot because there's a very good argument and in a lot of cases for placebo effect. As you're probably aware, what placebo effect is giving someone something which is actually inert, telling them that it does something, and then through impetus, often uh, unknown to medical science, they actually receive legitimate results from it. This has been noted in things like blood pressure and so forth. It wouldn't necessarily cure people, but they'd give them a pill and say this will lower your blood pressure. Their blood pressure was high and it dropped by, you know, 20 points diastolic and systolic, and uh, maybe it wasn't as much as they needed, and they in fact needed a blood pressure medication, but it to some degree worked. Um, in any event, like I say, Tribulus, and this is relatively cheap. This was actually $2.99 for a 120 capsule bottle. It may cost more than that on a given day. A lot of times I buy these things on sale, but and try them. And incidentally, I've used an awful lot of herbals which did absolutely nothing that I um, could tell, and a few of them actually had negative effects. In some cases, diarrhea and so forth like that. And so I'd be a little cautious with herbals too, because there are a few of them which are toxic in large doses. I'm not an herbal expert, but I have gone and looked and said, well, this is an inexpensive herb. What does it do? And I Google it or something and find out. Now, one other thing about this product, uh, one of the very, very limited numbers of bro science things that I've ever um, uh, attempted or even entertained the idea of was raising testosterone levels with supplements. There's a guy on YouTube, his name is Danny Bluck. Some other people have actually experimented with it, but Danny Bluck did a good experiment with it of using Tribulus, DHEA, and DIM in a so-called stack to raise testosterone. Now, it required a much more concentrated Tribulus than this is. This one is 20% steroidal saponins, and he was using one that I think was 80%. Anyway, I bought the stack because my tested, and this is tested in a physician's office, my tested free testosterone was running quite low. And I went through the protocol, taking no drugs, no hormones, no testosterone, no testosterone patch, nothing like that. And I used that stack for a while, and in fact, my free testosterone level nearly doubled. And I don't much think that placebo effect can account for that. Now, some nutritionists, some well, in one case, a biologist basically told me this is impossible, and it was for some other reason, and it couldn't have been. Well, taking those three things in that stack was the only thing I changed. Now, I would have kept taking it. I probably would have reduced the dose because I was taking fairly large amounts of these things, but I became extraordinarily aggressive. I don't know if it was from the testosterone or some side effect from the supplements, but I became extraordinarily aggressive and just irrationally angry at almost everything. And I was not a happy camper about anything. Incidentally, my lifts, and I don't lift weights in a serious way, but they were going up too, and rapidly. And so I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if you could use that stack and then use Valium or something to keep yourself calm. But I had to stop taking it. I lost a close friend. Well, she was a Facebook friend, but I had been communicating with her and really liked, communicating with her on Facebook, and she actually got mad about some things that I said to someone else on Facebook. Somebody irritated me, and at the time I was, like I said, completely irrational and said a lot of things that were not in the best of taste. And so anyway, but anyhow, the Tribulus, if not saying for testosterone, and incidentally, none of the three things that I mentioned ever worked for me testosterone wise that I know of, because I wasn't always in the situation where I was having tests done. But I don't think any of the three would probably do much for you independently. DHEA might a little bit, but it also might raise your estrogen and offset it. The reason you had to take the DIM in that stack was to offset the estrogen increase from the DHEA, because it increases all hormones, or most of them. And so anyway, before this video gets too long, once again, I am going to sign off for now, and I'll be back to discuss more supplements later, and we'll, as I mentioned before, discuss weight loss again, and along with some photos at a later date. Thanks for watching.